Fern stumbles upon Frieren in a somber moment, praying for Aura's fallen soldiers. It is here that Fern realizes Frieren has indeed defeated Aura. Shortly after, Graf, Stark, and the others arrive, their faces etched with relief and admiration. Graf steps forward to congratulate Frieren on her hard-earned victory. Frieren, ever gracious, turns to Fern and Stark, commending them for their successful defeat of Lugner and Lini. The group, having triumphed over formidable foes, begins their journey back to the kingdom. Upon their return, Graf expresses his gratitude by offering Frieren a precious artifact, Flamm's defensive barrier grimoire. Frieren, however, quickly discerns it to be a fake. This revelation sparks a lively discussion about the intricacies of dealing with nobility and their penchant for deception. The conversation takes a humorous turn when Stark, with his characteristic bluntness, inadvertently adds a comedic touch to the serious topic, eliciting laughter from the group. Before they depart, Graf informs Frieren and her allies that the townsfolk wish to honor them for their heroic efforts in defeating Aura and her minions. A brief montage captures the warm and heartfelt interactions between the heroes and the grateful townsfolk, showcasing moments of joy, laughter, and camaraderie. This period of celebration is a poignant reminder of the impact of their deeds. As the time comes to leave, Graf escorts the group to the kingdom's exit. He cautions them about the dangers that lie ahead in the northern plateau, emphasizing that travel is heavily restricted in those treacherous lands. During this discussion, he mentions the title of first-class mages, a term that piques Frieren's curiosity, as she is unfamiliar with it. Fern takes a moment to explain that first-class mages hold a prestigious certification awarded by the Continental Magic Association. She shares her personal achievement of acquiring her third-class certification at the Holy Capital, adding depth to the conversation. Graf then reveals the existence of a large magical city in the northern lands called Auberst, renowned for its connection to powerful mages and ancient magic. Inspired by this revelation, Fern suggests to Stark that they should assist Frieren in obtaining her first-class certification in Auberst. The idea of embarking on a new quest invigorates the group. As they leave the kingdom, they notice the onset of snow. Frieren cautions Stark and Fern, warning that the approaching winter will bring new and formidable challenges. The snowfall soon escalates into a fierce snowstorm. In the midst of the blizzard, Stark collapses from the cold. Determined to find shelter, Frieren and Fern carry him through the blinding snow. Their perseverance pays off when they stumble upon a log cabin, a beacon of hope in the storm. Inside the cabin, they find an elf man who introduces himself as Kraft the monk. Fern is initially hesitant to enter, suspecting Kraft might be a pervert due to his disheveled appearance. However, Kraft assures them that he means no harm and warmly invites them inside. The warmth of the cabin provides much-needed relief, and as Stark regains consciousness, he introduces himself to Kraft, expressing his gratitude. Kraft then takes Frieren, Fern, and Stark outside to show them his wagon of supplies. He generously offers them the use of the items stored on it, a gesture that underscores his kind and hospitable nature. 6 months pass, with Frieren and her allies staying with Kraft, helping him survive the harsh winter season. During this time, Kraft and Frieren engage in deep conversations about faith and devotion. Kraft shares his unwavering belief in the goddess of creation, expressing his hope that his efforts will be praised when he reaches heaven. His conviction is both inspiring and thought-provoking. Kraft offers to praise Frieren equally, which triggers a memory for her. She recalls a moment when Hyder, a figure from her past, wanted to praise her. This memory stirs a sense of nostalgia and longing within Frieren. She politely declines Kraft's offer, but expresses her hope of reuniting with the person who praised her long ago. As the winter ends and the snow begins to melt, the time comes for Frieren and her companions to bid farewell to Kraft. Their parting is bittersweet, filled with gratitude and mutual respect. Our heroes step out of the cabin and back into the vast, snowy landscape. Frieren, Fern, and Stark find themselves scaling the challenging slopes of the Schwer Mountains. As they press on, Frieren, weary from the journey, falls asleep. Seeing this, Fern turns to Stark and expresses her wish to carry Frieren up the mountain. This tender moment is interrupted by Frieren's memories of the past. She recalls a time when she, Himmel, Hyder, and Eisen received an insultingly small payment from a king. After leaving the kingdom, they discussed Himmel's replica Hero Blade, reminiscing about how he came to possess it and how it led to his fateful meeting with Hyder. Himmel expressed a deep longing to obtain the genuine Hero Blade before their inevitable confrontation with the Demon King. Their journey brings them to the Village of the Sword, where they are greeted by the village chief. Stark, knowledgeable about the village's history, informs Fern that the hero's blade was once kept here. The village chief hints at a looming danger, referring to the Lord of the Mountain, a threat to their peaceful village. Stark explains the hero's blade's origins to Fern, recounting that 80 years ago, Himmel attempted to pull it from its sanctuary, but ultimately failed. Seeking refuge from the cold, the trio takes shelter. The village chieftain then approaches Frieren with a request to deal with a few monsters that have been terrorizing the village. Frieren and her friends agree to help, showcasing their skills and teamwork as they defeat several wolf-like creatures. However, the real challenge appears when the Lord of the Mountain reveals itself. A fierce battle ensues, but our heroes emerge victorious. After the fight, Stark questions Frieren about the hero's blade and its sanctuary. Frieren explains that Himmel could not pull the sword from the stone. In a poignant flashback, Himmel tells his companions that he does not mind not being recognized as a real hero, asserting that he would defeat the Demon King without the legendary sword. Curious, Fern asks why the narrative of Himmel pulling the sword was created. Frieren responds that people wanted to remember Himmel as a hero and avoid spreading embarrassing stories about him. After bidding farewell to the villagers, Frieren, Fern, and Stark continue their journey to a nearby village. They find an inn where Frieren expresses her desire to relax and read some grimoires. She also reminds Fern that Stark's birthday is approaching, to which Fern laments that she wished she had known sooner. With a mischievous smile, Frieren shows Fern a clothes-dissolving potion she planned to give Stark as a prank gift for his birthday. Amused, Fern pours the potion on Frieren as a playful punishment before leaving to find Stark. Discovering that he is not in his room, she inquires with the locals and eventually finds him lying on a grassy hill, gazing at the clouds. As they stroll through the town, Fern asks Stark if he would like anything for his birthday. Stark, somewhat puzzled, reveals that he never received birthday gifts from his deceased family or from Eisen. Stark opens up about his past, sharing that he grew up in a village of warriors where weakness was not tolerated. In a flashback, a man is seen belittling the village warriors, praising Stark's older brother Stoltz instead. Despite the criticism, Stoltz decides to train Stark, seeing potential in him. Stark recounts how a pack of monsters attacked his village, leading him to abandon everyone in a moment of fear. He compares himself to Himmel, doubting he would have acted as bravely. Fern reassures him, insisting that he shouldn't let his past define him. She promises to be there for him and prevent him from repeating such actions. They visit a shop where Fern buys a thoughtful gift for Stark. Returning to the inn, they find that Frieren has prepared a feast of large Hamburg steaks for Stark's birthday. Stark, touched, reveals that Eisen used to make these steaks for him, explaining it as a custom in Eisen's region to celebrate hard-working warriors on their birthdays. A flashback shows Stoltz secretly cooking Hamburg steak for Stark, influencing his younger brother to flee during the monster attack to ensure his survival. Stark savors the dish and thanks Frieren for the gesture. Frieren then mentions she still has some of the clothes removal potion left, causing Fern to issue a playful warning that she'll pour it on her again. Stark, intrigued and slightly confused, wonders what the potion does, adding a light-hearted note to their conversation as they enjoy their time together. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for upcoming episodes.